I do understand that everything's about seasons, and you may be in a season of working for somebody else right now, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. What's going on, guys? This is the Frontline podcast. I'm your host, Mike Freeman, and today is going to be a quick video and audio recording. I'm going to be talking about some keys to success in your corporate job. And this is important because I know there's a lot of stuff online about entrepreneurship, being your own boss. Don't just get paid for time. But the reality is that not all of us are in a position to be an entrepreneur right now. Some of us have bills to pay. We have jobs, or maybe even like our career situation, or at least the career path that we're in, or like the company that we work for, or whatever your situation may be. So I understand that there's a lot online talking about, being free to kind of do your own thing and being an entrepreneur and being a business owner. And if that's your goal, that's great. And if you can do that right now, then do that. And you can, and I will be talking about being a business owner and entrepreneur in other videos and podcast episodes as well. But I think it's important to talk about, the corporate environment since I have a lot of experience there. And, you know, it may be in your future plans to be an entrepreneur or business owner in the future. But what a great way to learn about the business or learn about running a business and while being immersed in some of the bigger, more successful businesses in the world. So although there's a lot of things that aren't great at the individual level, if there are things that you maybe don't agree with that your company's doing, or maybe there's certain values that you don't share, or there's a lack of autonomy and ability to do things that the way that you want to do it. I do think for every soldier, it is important to learn how to follow orders, starting out, paying your dues. Now, obviously, you have to figure out where that line is drawn of what you are not willing to follow, especially if those instructions go against the will of God or go against your Bible. Then maybe at that point, it's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. But I think it's important to talk to you guys that, hey, maybe you're in your early 20s, like I was when I got into corporate America. I got into corporate America when I was 23 years old, and I didn't know anything, and I was a deer caught in the headlights, and I didn't have any experience, and I I actually had I actually started in the corporate office in an entry level position. Like I was at the bottom of the totem pole. So some of you actually may have started out a little higher or a lot higher, or maybe you're thinking about working for a big company, whatever your situation is. But in this episode, I'm going to be talking about 4 keys to improve your career in a corporate environment. These are things that work for me and work for others that I've worked with in the past. I've shared this with mentees that I have. And these are also tips that were shared with me by mentors in the past that I've implemented and have worked well for me. So I'm excited to share them with you. And I hope that it's a blessing for you in whatever your journey is, or the season that you're in right now. And again, I'll reiterate, everything's in seasons. So don't let the internet confuse you and get you all flustered because you saw this great video of this one guy who's this great entrepreneur, is making his money. He's on the beach, he's going to Turks and Caicos. He's, traveling around the world, and he's driving nice cars. And he's like, yeah, I just started working for myself and, you know, and now I'm rich. I started my online business and selling stuff on Amazon and, doing a YouTube channel. And now I'm rich, stop working for that boss. It's like in context, it's fine to pursue that. And I do truly believe that every man should attempt to run a business at some point in their lives. I do believe that. However, I do understand that everything's about seasons, and you may be in a season of working for somebody else right now, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Let me go on a tangent for a little bit, because again, there's a lot of men's focused content out there showing this lavish lifestyle, showing the car, showing the money, the women, etc. And it's these stories where coming from the bottom, now I'm here, right? Started at the bottom, now I'm here. I think that's how it goes. And these are great stories, and they're inspirational, and we should aspire to want to generate wealth. There's no reason why Christians should not want to generate wealth for their families presently and long term. There's nothing wrong with pursuing that, and there's a lot of Bible to back that up. But at the same time, like, there's this crazy lifestyle that's being shown on TikTok and Insta and on social media, period, that is just unrealistic for a lot of people. And I think it's giving young men kind of false expectations. Like, this is a grind, bro. Like, no matter what your goals are, what you're trying to do, like, this is a grind. This is not something that's just going to happen overnight. Can you be successful? Can you become wealthy? Can you become a millionaire? Absolutely. And if that's what you want to strive for, you can absolutely do that, and you can do that in God's will. But don't get too caught up in everything that's going on social media around these get rich quick, posts and this lavish lifestyle stuff. Don't worry about that stuff. Everything is in season, right? Everything's about seasons. There's a lot to learn from working for somebody else. Okay, you don't have to just become an entrepreneur. You don't know how to run a business. You're likely to fail in that business is a lot higher. It's already high starting out. I think 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. So if you go into it with no knowledge, no information, no guidance, no mentorship, likely you're going to fail anyway. So, again, this is not stomping on anybody's dreams or anything like that. Go for whatever it is that you want to go for if you're in a position to do it, if you have the knowledge to do it. But for those that work a job, that work for somebody else, and happen to, where I'm going to be talking about this episode about a corporate, working at a corporate job, this is going to be good advice for you. We are going to be talking about quote unquote blue collar jobs too, which are overlooked and disrespected. And there's a lot of men out there making great money in these trade fields and these infrastructure jobs that should be the pursuit of a lot of us too. But we'll talk about that in another episode. So let me get to these 4 keys before I take up too much of your time here. So 4 keys to success in your corporate job. Key number 1 is determine where you want to go within your corporate career. Like, what position are you pushing for? At least at what level? Do you want to be a senior manager with a small team one day? Do you want to be like a lead director with a medium-sized team? Do you want to be an executive director? Do you want to be a vice president? Where do you want to be, and when do you want to get there, realistically? So if you're 22, 23, 24 years old, you're fresh out of college, you have, an underwriting job, or you're a customer service manager, or you are an actuary, or you're a marketing consultant, or you're an analyst. Where do you want to, what do you want to get to in the next 5 years? And if you want to add 10 years to that, if you expect to be there for a while, that maybe not in that company, but at least in that industry or working in corporate, for the next 5 to 10 years, what are you aspiring to? And if you know that you want to be in 5 to 10 years, you want to be a a senior manager with a team of 10 and up, or you want to be a supervisor, or you want to be um, an executive director, you need to find out what the day-to-day responsibilities of that position is. Like, what are they doing? How many hours do they work? What kind of skills do you need to have to do the job? How many meetings do they have a day? What is expected of them? How often are they speaking with senior leadership? Like, you need to know what that job entails. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that said, "Oh, I want to be in this position or that position," and or more so in dollars. Like, I want to make this amount of money or that amount of money, and they have no idea what it takes to even be good in the position they're pushing for. So figure that out, and figure out what it is that ideal position does on a day-to-day basis, how long they work, how many hours they put in, what is expected of you in that position. Tip number 2. This is important. You need to study and memorize the company's mission statement, their strategic vision for the company, and their values. You need to study that. You need to know that. I would say that no matter what position you're in, you should know that, but especially if you're looking to grow, to get promoted, to make more money, you need to know these things, because you're going to want to use that memorized information in all of your meetings that you're in the projects that you're working on, the assignments that you're working on. When you get exposure to certain managers or leaders, you want to be able to talk the language of what the company is doing. And you want to know why the company is doing what they're doing. You want to have an idea of what their competitors are doing in the same regard. So if you work for Apple and the mission statement is to, let's say, create the best, cell phone technology in the world or whatever, something like that. Well, what is the mission statement of Samsung? What is the mission statement of some of these other cell phone companies, right? You want to know what the company is trying to do and why, and how you fit in, how the positions you want fit in to that strategy. You need to understand that. And the strategy will get into details around how they think they're going to meet those goals. That's what the strategy documents are for. And the bigger companies will have dedicated strategic or strategy advisory teams focused just on company strategy, and they feed that to the executive leaders. Get access to it if you can. They usually post them publicly. Read them, study them, learn them, memorize them, and use that in everything that you do in your journey to get to the position you want. Key number 3, find successful mentors in the company. This is pretty straightforward. Stop being shy. Go meet some people. It's harder to do with COVID. Some people are working from home full time or in, part time in the office. Figure it out. Most of these companies, they have work groups and resource groups. Join them. Participate. Get involved. Meet people. Reach out via email, or you can cold call. Look up executives or vice presidents or lead directors, whatever level you want to go. Reach out to those people in the company directory. Send them an email and say, "Hey, my name is such and such. I would really love 15 minutes to grab coffee or to have a conversation, to talk a little bit about your position. I'm also looking for a mentor. Is this something you can help me with?" Simple. Get out there and meet people. And once you build a relationship with the right people, then You know, ask if they'd be willing to be your mentor. Hey, do you mind meeting with me once a quarter for 25 minutes so that, we could talk about career development, skill development, what I need to do to get to the position you're in currently. There are so many shy people out there with such potential. And the reason why they're not excelling faster is because they are quiet and they're not talking. They're not reaching out. They're not networking. And they're expecting somebody to just come and knock on their door and just give them a job. That's not how this works. Gentlemen, we got to be leaders, man. We got to go out there. If your goal is to be stronger, to be more successful, to be in a better financial situation so that you can prepare for your next gig, for the business you want to start in 15 years or 10 years or whatever that timeline is, build the skills now in a place where you don't have all the risk on top of you, which is another benefit to spending some time working for somebody else before you start a business. The risk is not all on you yet. You're not carrying the burden of the company on your shoulders, success of the company on your shoulders. You get to observe, you get to analyze, you get to ask questions, you get to make mistakes without it being detrimental to the success of the business, and build skills, and then take those skills and say, you know what, I'm ready to start a business now. And I may still fail in that business or multiple businesses before I hit the right one, but I'm going to fail faster and I'm going to have a lower chance of failing in a hard way. People who fail hard are oftentimes people who are inexperienced on starting a business or whatever it is that they're trying to do. They're inexperienced. So the failure is like quick and it's hard. You're losing $100,000. Like, oh, I just took out $100,000 loan. It's like, man, there's some value working for somebody else for a little bit of time in a season. Last but not least of the 4 keys to success in a corporate job, or a corporate environment, I should say. Ask for and seek flex projects and assignments. What does that mean? So let's say you're an underwriter or you're some kind of analyst. You're an analyst. You're some kind of analyst. Communications analyst, IT analyst. I don't know. You're an analyst. And your job is to analyze some type of data that's coming in reports, some sort of reporting data. You're analyzing data. That's your job. But the job that you want is you want to be a lead project manager, and you want to project manage, software development. So your desire is to be a project manager in a software development team. So what you need to do is seek to determine if you can find small assignments within that area or department of which you would like to work, or maybe it's in the same department and there's project managers there that have work. There's project management work in your department. Work with your manager or your manager's manager to see if you can find a small assignment that maybe takes 10 to 15% of your time a week that you can work on to gain experience doing exactly what it is that you're trying to do. Simple. Again, people get shy or they don't think of this, but it's a really simple thing. Usually people have one-on-ones with their managers. Meet with your manager. Say, hey, listen, I want to be a project manager. I want to be a project director. What flex assignment or small assignment can I take on 10, 15% of my time where I can start learning more about that position real time? and work with them to figure that out. Doing it that way, you're ahead of the game. So when you're ready to maybe apply or push or put yourself in the hat as a candidate for that opening that comes up for that project manager position that you want, or that lead product director, or whatever position that position is that you want. Hey, I've been working on this flex project, this flex assignment for 12 months. And this is the results of that assignment. And this is what I was able to produce. And these are the people that I was working with. So those are my 4 keys to success in a corporate job. I hope this is valuable to you if you're in this season of working for somebody else. And listen, even though I provided this information from the context of working in corporate America, this is still applicable to other industries and other types of work. So if you're working for let's say you're some kind of engineer in an electrical company or something like that. I know some electrical engineers. You want to be the lead electrical engineer, or you want to be you're in an HVAC tech, and you want to own your own HVAC tech company. Well, seek flex assignments, find mentors, learn the mission statements of the company that you're working for. Determine where you want to be. That's still, all this is still applicable in those careers, in those types of jobs. So that's the video and the episode. Be sure to go to YouTube. If you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video for the algorithms. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by June 2023. It's a pretty modest goal. So I should be able to reach this goal. Help me reach this goal. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, follow the podcast on all the other platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And I'm going to be back with you with more content like this very soon. Gents, take it easy.